Wow, I just got goosebumps seeing all those faces and the kind of excitement that we created on ground in Hyderabad and Vizag. A very good evening, everyone. So happy to see you all. I'm sure many students and guests will be joining soon. Welcome to the orientation session of the IBC Continuous Education Program. It's lovely to have you all. I would like to thank you once again for joining in. I am Deepak Singh from IBC Media, and it is a real pleasure to be among everyone here on this fantastic occasion. Today, we are going to be diving into our education ecosystem called IBC CEP, which is a short form for IBC Continuous Education Program. Most of you might already know about it. The ones who don't, no worries, that's what we are here for. We will be giving you an elaborate guide basically on how you can change your career through an active participation in the CEP, and all of it revolves around Web3 and blockchain. Our goal today is to give you a comprehensive overview of the IBC CEP and how it will get you hands-on experience with blockchain technology and its potential applications. So you can make an informed decision on how it can be used in your own education setting. We have an absolutely packed panel today, and we will discuss the specifics and how you can achieve this goal. Before we start this interactive session, guys, I would like to show you all some glimpses, actually some more glimpses of the Alt Hack Hyderabad and Alt Hack Vizag and the amazing stuff that we did over there in some pictures, some videos, and basically a combination of everything and all. See for yourself.
I'm very happy to be participating in this edition of IBC's Hack Fest, which focuses on close to 20,000 students developing new solutions, new ideas, new proposals, utilizing Web 3.0 and blockchain.
I think it's very important for us to ensure that the youth of Telangana are aware of all the latest technologies. This is just one step towards it.
Being part of the hackathon is definitely itself is a 50% achievement on your career growth. I wish all the students all the best.
What we feel that over these last few days, the student developers who have participated in this process spent enormous amount of time in the Polkadot technology stack.
We basically are creating a new program that will be taken from Telangana to the world for creating talent for Web3 as a new format of hackathon, which we call a skillathon, to educate 1 million developers globally for Web3.
And after coming here, it's been an amazing journey. We had a lot of panel discussions. We had introduction about what blockchain actually is and how the world is transforming from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, and that gave me some beautiful insights and some ground realities me as a student should contribute.
I have been interacting with the students for the past 8 days. I think the level of depth, the ideation process, I think there are very good talent. Students' interaction is really, really good.
All right, so that was Hyderabad. Now let's see some crazy stuff that we did, of course, in Vizag.
This program basically concentrates on training the students on blockchain technologies and Web3 technologies and initiating them to take over the business problems and moving into the startups. A lot of funding has been available for the startups into the blockchain technologies.
We are glad to be associated with one very good firm like IBC, which is conducting for the benefit of students from about 50 engineering colleges, and we are here having the course offline, and there are another 50 colleges taking part online.
ఇంటర్నేషనల్ బ్లాక్ చైన్ హ్యాకథాన్ ఒకటి కండక్ట్ చేద్దామని అడిగితే Web 3.0 టెక్నాలజీస్ మీద రెడీగా అగ్రీ అయ్యాము. మోర్ దెన్ 400+ స్టూడెంట్స్ వచ్చారు. 60 స్టార్ట్అప్స్ కూడా దీనిలో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేయడం జరిగింది. వీళ్ళని ట్రైన్ చేయడమే కాకుండా ఫర్దర్గా వీళ్ళకి ఇంటర్న్షిప్స్ ఇవ్వడం, ప్లేస్మెంట్స్ డ్రైవ్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయడం కూడా జరుగుతుంది.
We are happy to attend the 8-day workshop and hackathon at the end.
Well, after listening to all the sessions, I was glad and I was motivated to be a blockchain developer in Polkadot.
Yep, that was just a small glimpse of what we were actually doing down there in Vizag. And I'm telling you guys, over 500 people, 500 unique students had participated in that week-long sessions on blockchain. And it was, I mean, it cannot be described in words. If you were there, then you are one of those lucky ones. If you weren't, hopefully next time we'll see you there. Yeah, so that's too much of me now. I would move on to our next speaker. Before that, I would like to say that at IBC Media, we are committed to providing equal opportunities for all students, regardless of your college or your university background. Our first speaker firmly believes that anyone from any educational institution can learn and develop the skills necessary to make a significant impact in the world of technology. As a matter of fact, you don't even need to be from any institution. You could be a student, you can just learn by yourself, but you obviously need a direction. Where we come in, we are dedicated to providing the necessary support and resources to ensure that everyone has the chance to reach their full potential. Our next speaker's dedication and commitment is unparalleled. His creativity, ambition, and the maverick mindset has allowed us to make our presence felt across the world. He was the driving force behind India's first global blockchain conference in 2018, and his ambition is to put India's Web3 education program on the global map with you. Our students, you are the driving force of his vision. We are confident that together we can create a large, extremely large for that matter, a blockchain knowledge trend in India. Despite his young age, he has already established himself as a veteran in the blockchain industry, having been one of the first to recognize the potential of this technology and to take action to make a difference in the world. He has been a leader in this space, pioneering new solutions and helping to shape the industry as it continues to grow. With that, I would like to welcome our first speaker and leader, Mr. Abhishek Pitti, the founder of IBC Media. Abhishek sir, requesting you to kindly take the conversation ahead.
Thank you, Deepak. Am I audible, by the way, guys?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, so sorry, I have a little bit of sore throat. But guys, everyone, thank you, Deepak. Thank you, all the IBC staff. And more importantly, the students that are on the call. I'm joining you from Dubai. I was at the World Economic Forum in Davos in Switzerland for the past 7 days. But I'm excited and thrilled to kick off this program. And we are very thrilled with what happened. Just so you know, an update from Davos is that we have the entire government of India willing to help in making sure that you are getting skills in the emerging technology. But before I talk more about that, I do want to introduce myself. My name is Abhishek Pitti. I have, if you're wondering who I am, I would say the easiest way to imagine who I am is I am you 17 years ago. I was in your shoes. I was part of a college under JNTU, a bachelor student in aeronautical engineering in Hyderabad, and I really was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life, and I continued my education in masters in aerospace engineering. I worked for an aircraft manufacturing company called Gulfstream Aerospace. They made the #1 business jets in the world. Out of Savannah, Georgia, in the U.S. And then I wanted to do something else after 6 years, and I applied for business schools. So I got into Harvard MBA, Harvard University out of Boston, and and at Harvard I realized that the best opportunities, the highest paid opportunities are in emerging technology. And so I went to emerging technology. I decided to shift my career from aerospace to get into technology in 2012. And then I realized that all my education, all my degrees, all my certificates mean nothing. My Harvard University means nothing. My, what matters is skill. What matters is what I know about the technology. What matters is, what you can do with your skill set. And the world has evolved to go in that direction. But for me, it was a completely different realization that, all these certificates, all this education means nothing if I cannot build something, by myself or with a team. So since 2012, I got into technology. I learned how to build. I learned how to code. I learned how to build a team and deliver. Since then, I sold 2 companies in the space. I've been a technology entrepreneur, and our vision now is to bring that viewpoint to all students who are just like me or who are just like me, who probably will not learn this and basically become either victim of the college campus recruiting or take up something because you fully don't understand what's happening on the planet, as you know, where the best paying jobs are. So that's a little bit background about about me. I and now run this organization called IBC Media. It stands for International Blockchain Congress, and it was founded with the government in 2018 to basically help the students like yourself to find the best paying jobs. And I'm being very, very specific about best and highest paying jobs in the industry. Now, we will get to that in a second, but that's really what I do. And I am always available with my team to make sure every one of you get the attention for your career. A lot of you might be wondering what you want to do post your undergraduate career, and we will talk about that. But I want to touch on only two main points, and then my team will sort of help you, with the program. But I want to talk about why you should be in this call. Why is this relevant, and why you should be part of IBC, and why are we here doing this? So first off, I want to talk about the simple logic of water versus diamond. If I just ask a rhetorical question saying, what is more expensive, water or diamond, right? You would naturally say diamond. But can I ask you, can you live without diamonds? And the answer would be probably yes. And if I ask you, can you live without water? The answer would be no. And then why is diamond more expensive when you cannot live without water, right? It's a simple economics or 101, which is supply and demand, right? If there is more demand for something, you will pay more for it. If there is or less supply of something, then you will pay more for it. So in this case, diamonds have less supply, hence more demand. So people will pay more for it, no matter whether you live without them or not. So now, why am I sharing this analogy with you? I'm sharing this analogy with you because this is directly applicable to your career. If you go to a technology domain or an industry domain where there are tons of people available in a sector, then you are as good as water, right? But if you go to a domain where there is less supply of engineers, then you get paid more, right? Because there is shortage of talent, and that's where you get the highest paying jobs. Now, also, when you are working, so let's talk about emerging technology. Emerging technology, in this case, we talk about Web3, is a new frontier, and it's an evolution of internet. From Web 1 to Web 2 to Web 3, and I'm sure the first set of sessions in CEP will talk more about that. But the point I'm trying to make is, when you are in the evolution and you're in the new frontier of technology, there is always less people who are trained in those jobs, right? And that's why you have less supply and you have more demand for yourself. Now, the interesting thing about Web3 is it's a global demand. It's not like one company, Infosys, comes to your campus and basically offers jobs that are a lot of people applying to. So my point to you is, one, the emerging frontier like Web3, and there will be Web 4 and Web 5, and we'll get to teach you that when we get there. But today, the emerging frontier is Web 3, and there is worldwide shortage of talent. And this is important to know because you can choose to do, PHP, you can choose to build a website, you can choose to be a designer, you can choose to be a tester. But for the same amount of time, if you can get paid $100,000 per year, versus getting a 10 lakh rupee salary, versus 80 lakh rupee salary, where will you go, right? And our intent here is to make sure that you get trained into the Web3 as a career, because one, that's the future of technology, that's the future of internet. So Google, Facebook, Amazon, all of these companies today survive in Web 2. The Web 3 frontier is a global frontier. That means there are 19,000 companies trying to recruit and have shortage of talent. So one, you need to understand that this is an emerging frontier where there is a huge shortage of supply and they're highest paying jobs, number one. Number two, this is a global opportunity. This is not just an India opportunity. People are asking, you can work from home, you can have all the benefits, you can have the highest paying salary, but you need to build, you need to know how to build, you need to have the skills, right? Now, the point that we want to make sure, there's a reason why you're here, the reason why we are here is because we are trying to upgrade your skill sets or teach you skills that are required to be part of this high shortage, talent shortage industry where you will get the highest paying jobs, right? Now, let's talk about, if that is clear, I want to just quickly sort of lay out how we are doing it. And it's very simple. How we are doing it is, first off, you have to know that, like Deepak said, that there is no background skill set required for you to be part of this program. You can be a law student, you can be a engineering student, if you are a computer science student, if you are a medical student, no matter what the background is, you can learn the programming skill set 3 months. 3 months tops, you can be be able to deliver a meaningful outcome. Now, first of all, if you are a computer science student, the only benefit you might have is a little bit of programming. You are familiar to the laptop, the shortcuts, the loops, and have a general idea of how object-oriented programming works. But all of these things can be learned very, very quickly. If you are not from that background. Second is, what we are doing here is we are giving you a team-oriented, project-based skill development. Now, when I say team-oriented, that means you get to form teams, and project-oriented, project-based means you get to work on a project, which is effectively an internship for you. So you can choose a project. We can help you find a project, and you work on a particular project with a team that you can choose. And if you don't have a team, we can assign you a team, and you will work on your skill development by working on that project. Now, why is that important? That is important because the new employers, the Web3 employers, want to see what can you deliver. And it is important for us to show them that you have worked on X project with Y team and delivered Z result, right? And the more number of projects you do, the more number of internships you do, you basically get skilled. And skill is the only way to get jobs in Web3. Like I said, all my Harvard degrees, all my aerospace bachelor's, master's mean nothing to these employers. What they want to see is, have you delivered something meaningful? Can you demonstrate your skill? And have you shown some proof of skill? And proof of skill is nothing but the internship program that we have for you. Now, just to clarify what you will get out of this program, you will get 3 levels of certificates in this program. And one is a participation certificate, 2 is an education certificate, and 3 is an internship certificate. I'm sure Praveen, who is exceptional, and he's a great resource to have with us on this call, and he's a one of the best people you are Hey, can you guys hear me, Deepak? Or did I?
Yes, sir. There was some
I think
network issue.
yeah,
Now we can hear
yeah,
you. Yeah.
I'm back. Okay, so I was saying that we have Praveen here, who is our chief operating officer. He is exceptionally good. We have very good team. By the way, we are the pioneers in the technology. We have been in the space for almost 10 years now. So you will find all the resources. The last point I'm going to make is the world has evolved dramatically over the last 10 years. And the new jobs are created globally now. And you should pay attention when you're thinking about your career, that how you can make your career one, global. Like, how do you get a global opportunity? Two, the highest paying jobs. How can you get the highest paying job? And remember what I told you, water versus diamond. You need to be on the diamond side to get the highest paying jobs, no matter how critical that job is. If you're not in the demand side, if you're not where there is a shortage of skill, you will never get paid the highest price for your time, right? And third most important thing I want you to remember is flexibility. Do you want to be an engineer? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to be a contractor? Like, what are the three different types of jobs you want to do? If you have great idea and you want to work on a startup, Web3 allows you to do it. IBC basically makes sure that if you have a great idea, we will find you investors to work on your project. If you have great skill, we will get you contracting projects which will pay you anywhere between $20,000-$25,000 per project. And this is all the money you can make while you're at school. And by the time you complete 4 such internships with us, you will be ready to get a job in the most demanded industry sector where the shortage is. So the whole idea between you and us is to have a partnership to basically take you on the journey to make sure that you have an opportunity to get the highest paying jobs in the emerging frontier in technology, that is Web 3.0 today. With that, I welcome you all. It is a great pleasure. I'm sure we'll see each of you very, very soon. We are also creating, a service that will help you get jobs as you progress through this journey. But with that, Deepak, over to you. Thank you so much again. And it's a pleasure to be with you guys in this journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Abhishek, sir. So before you leave, I want to just address one comment that we got in our Q&A section. So one of the students was saying that, so we were just conversing and he said, I think it's Mr. Niranjan. So he said, yes, yeah, this all seems too good to be true, LOL.
Yeah.
So what would you like to say to that?
No, I think it is. I mean, quite honestly, just so you know, it is too good to be true, because I wish there was somebody doing this for me when I was in college. And you don't have to trust me. You just have to Google yourself, saying what is the average 2-year-old salary, 2-year experienced salary for a Web3 engineer. Why don't I do this? How about I share my screen and Google it in front of you, and we will find an answer, right? Can I share my screen, Deepak?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Just go ahead.
So, and you should be a total skeptic. And I tell you, don't trust anybody who will tell you this, but I would tell you that you should be a skeptic before you believe anybody. So let's try to say average salaries globally for Web3 developers. All right, so the average Web3 salary, 153,000 per year. Salary estimates are based on anonymous submissions. But let's just say you'll be like, yeah, I mean, Web3 salaries can be whatever, but how about I say in 2 years, right? So let's see, Web3 careers. For a 2-year engineer, right? 2 years experienced engineer. So I just want to make sure you know that I am trying to make sure that you understand these are all the career choices that you will make. Web3 Salaries by developer type and programming language, and you see Web3 career right here. But let's just say C developer, Rust developer, these are salaries. I'm just trying to find a thing that shows me, and just so you know, I want to make sure I find the one which says, what's the salary by number of years of experience, right? Junior architecture by seniority. Web3 salaries. And just so you know, like, ask yourself, what is the salary that you're expecting when you graduate? And I can tell you, the people we work with, these guys are drawing anywhere between 25 lakhs to 50 lakhs of salaries if they're working in just India. But if they're going outside, the salaries are much, much higher. But the cool part is, because we are working with the international employers, you have a global opportunity to join anywhere in the world. So I'm trying to, there is an interesting graph that actually shows, but feel free to do this research. So and just so you know, I'm just going to basically show some of these numbers. Look at this, Web3 salary soared to 750,000 for rank and file devs. So I just know 6 months back, the salaries, the good developers around 4 to 5 years experience were getting paid $500,000 globally. So look, basic salaries with remaining 450,000 coming in the form of tokens. So there is an additional bonus which in Web3 that comes in form of tokens. But look at this. I mean, your cash salary component is $300,000 and the remaining is 415 tokens. That's additional. It's like a bonus you get in a company. In traditional Web 2.0, it's called shares in a company. In Web3, it's called tokens. But I would say, don't trust us. Just Google and find out what is really happening. I'm trying to find still a number that will tell you what a 2-year experienced blockchain engineer gets in the market internationally if you're a good developer. So, but the point I'm trying to make, guys, is this is too good to be true. You're absolutely right. And I'll tell you why it's too good to be true. If you're an entrepreneur in a Web2 world, when I say entrepreneur, if you're an engineer who has a great idea, wants to build a company, in Web2, in the Google world, it used to take at least minimum 7 years to make that company. If everything goes right, it used to take minimum 7 years to make a company $1 billion company. In Web3, it takes less than 1 year to make a company $1 billion company. Just so you know. So isn't that too good to be true? It is too good to be true, but it is happening. When Web3 was invented in 2000, I would say 14, when Ethereum came online, this has all happened in the last 7 years. And unfortunately, a lot of people in India are not even familiar with what is happening globally. So this is your opportunity, because a lot of people still don't know this. And if you make the right use of your time, you will be taking the opportunity home and draw the best salaries globally. But this is up to you. But I would recommend, please Google this. This is all out there. We are not making this up, but I am telling you one thing: we are the pioneers in this industry, and we are bringing this opportunity. The government of India is supporting this opportunity. Tech Mahindra is supporting this opportunity. It's not without a reason. And we want you to have this first, absolutely at no cost to you, to learn this opportunity, because we want you to go out and build companies that we can invest in. We can help you find jobs in companies that we have invested in. So there is there is, an incentive for all of us to be here. But clearly, I'm not surprised you think that way, because this is a great opportunity. And skepticism is good because, I expect that you will Google this after we finish this session, so that you can have more facts to believe this. I don't know if I answered that question, Deepak, but
Yeah, I think so.
it's a Google away.
Absolutely, sir. So I think we covered both. You covered both the things. One is how IBC. So the questions dynamic was basically mostly based upon how IBC is giving so much info to everyone without anything in return. So that was how the question had followed, and I think we have addressed it quite nicely. Once again, thank you.
Yeah. So I would say why we are doing it. It's simple. We want to invest in the companies that come out of this program. And you will ask me why? Simple reason. A company we invested in, 2 engineers that we invested in 2018, created a company, and we made introductions to the investors. We got them to grow. That company became a $20 billion company. A $20 billion company means 1.6 lakh crores worth of company. And I'm not sure if you know what company I'm talking about. It's called Polygon. How many people have heard about Polygon? I'm sure you have. In the Web3 space. If you're new to Web3, you will learn about it. But what I'm saying is, our interest is to invest in you and the companies you build and the technologies you will build. And we have partners who want to hire you and provide you high-paying jobs. It's basically supply and demand. So we are here to do this, but we are here with the right intent to educate you. We are not trying to, throw a hackathon and only the people who know will benefit. We are doing this with an intent to educate, help you build, gather internship certificates, demonstrate skills, and then go and get high-paying jobs if you don't want to build a company. So over to you, Deepak.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for taking all the time and for giving the wonderful insights. Now we will move on to the next agenda. Abhishek sir, will appreciate if you could be there on the call, or if you have time. Otherwise,
sure.
Obviously, please feel free. So yeah, so we'll move on to the next agenda, ladies and gentlemen. With great admiration, I would like to call upon our next speaker, the heart and soul of IBC Media. He comes with decades of experience in the tech industry, and in his elaborate experience, he has been an active member of many major changes and disruptions that the fintech world has seen. His love for technology has been instrumental in developing the IBC CEP program's overall curriculum and ensuring its implementation. He is as well also providing guidance and support to students and experts alike. Most of you would already know him once he comes on the screen. Under his leadership, IBC Media has been able to provide a high quality education to students and ensuring that they are well prepared for the future through IBC Continuous Education Program. We are proud to have him, and I'm sure his commitment towards creating value through Web3 education will continue to make a massive impact. The man is leading the agenda with utmost commitment, and he will be giving us a detailed introduction about the Continuous Education Program and also an insight into the blockchain industry. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call upon the Chief Operating Officer of IBC Media, Mr. Praveen Thakur. Praveen sir, requesting you to kindly take the conversation ahead.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah, so Abhishek, if you can stop sharing your screen so that I can start sharing my screen. Thank you. First of all, I wanted to thank Abhishek for taking out time. I know he was extremely occupied for last 10 days in Davos events, and he happened to land back in Dubai this morning, and I kind of pulled him in. The only reason for that was because I definitely wanted him to share his broad perspective. Abhishek has been working very closely with all the key blockchain companies that you might have heard of or that you might come across. And he's actively working with all of them, and he understands the pulse of this industry, with his experience in close to a decade in this space. And it was very important for all of us to hear him and listen to his wisdom. So thank you, Abhishek. Thanks again. Excellent. So before I get into what IBC Media is trying to do, Abhishek has pretty much covered, Deepak has pretty much covered as to why we are doing so. I think there is a pretty, standard way of looking at things here. This industry is what we call blockchain industry and Web3 industry. This industry has been, moving very fast. When I say very fast, I really mean it is moving very fast. Now, with this speed of innovation that is happening in this space, and the way the development programs are being created, the developers onboarding in this ecosystem is not happening at the same space. Now, with that reason, what is happening that this industry is facing acute shortage of, technical people who are, who are being able to take this industry to the next level. Now, when I say that, that is a very serious problem, because if any technology which is coming in the beginning, and if the fuel that is required to take this technology to the next level of maturity, it needs right kind of inputs. And we have worked, and like I was saying earlier, we have been working with all the key protocols in the industry, and we have seen very, very clearly that something has to be done to make this happen. Something has to be done to augment the rate at which the developers are learning these skills. Now, like we said earlier, I mean, are all these skills completely alien? Not really. But then there is a tweak required for you to become a solid Web3 developer. And we at IBC Media, we have understood this thing, and we have devised a program which takes you from the most foundational level that you can think of. And from there, we will be maturing you to a level where you become employable in Web3 space. Now, that is not so easy to do. And that really has to be done in a very, very systematic manner, in a way where the progression is not so steep. And with that only, what you are seeing in front of yourself right now, that we have two parts of the whole program that IBC Media is trying to do right now. Of course, we as a group of organization, we are trying to do several things in this space, but right now I'm trying to focus on two most important things. And you would have seen a glimpse of what really we are doing when we are conducting the Hackfest, what we call in, on-ground mode. We did that in Hyderabad in Tech Mahindra campus, in Vizag. We did in a fantastic campus called Gayatri Vidya Parishad College of Engineering. And I want to take this opportunity today to thank all the SPOCs, all the leadership, from colleges and the governments of various states, including Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, for enabling us, for enabling this mechanism to work. And by their help, really, it is very important for us to be able to reach out to you, and we have been able to do that because we think that our country, India, has got the potential and the strength to solve this biggest problem this industry is facing. And we have seen enormous amount of traction, enormous amount of idea generation. We have seen enormous amount of confidence being built in all the people who were a part of these two programs that we have done. We will be doing our next program in Bengaluru, just for your information. Now, the second part, which is a very important part, which is an extension to these programs, which is called Continuous Education Program. And this program has got 3 modules. I'll be explaining, all of that. And you are right now attending the module 1, which is attempting to give an orientation about this industry to you in the most clear and lucid way as possible, so that you understand what are you really currently witnessing. What you are witnessing could become a game changer. In fact, I was speaking to a few students who were part of our, the Hackfest in Vizag, and the statement that they made was that this experience was life-changing for them. Now, because most of you or many of you may not really be aware of this space right now, and we are not just giving you orientation, but we are taking you, hand-holding you, teaching you the basic skill sets, which are required for you to become a successful web developer, Web3 developer. We will talk much more in detail, tomorrow. And please do, attend the tomorrow session, where we will be talking about how do you really become a great Web3 developer. And of course, we will be getting deeper into the technology stuff. And the last part here is module 3, which really handholds you and makes you build something based on what really you have learned in module 1 and module 2. Now, I think, like Abhishek hinted at that point earlier, that there are hackathons which are happening in this industry. These hackathons are focusing on building solutions, and these solutions are being built by the people who are already in this space. You know what? IBC Media thinks very differently here. We say that if you are working within the boundary of an ecosystem, then expansion becomes very difficult. And that is where, in fact, me and one of my team members, Priscilla, she is not here today, we did an extensive research and analysis of what really this industry needs and what are the shortfalls in the models which are running right now in this field. And we came up with this model, and what you are seeing right now is an extensive research outcome. I have already covered the 3 modules that we are going to be covering. We are talking about module 1 right now. We will be getting into module 2. We have got experts in-house who will be helping you understand this field much more closely, and then we will be getting into building stuff there. So this really is a complete trajectory of stages which you require to become a Web3 developer. You cannot jump on module 3 without having completed module 2, because you need those arms and ammunitions to build the applications, right? We talked about these 3 modules, and a little bit on the logistics part here. Module 1 is pretty open for anybody who wants to come and transform his or her life by being introduced to this space, number 1, and who has got the tenacity to work along with the modules that we cover for you. And we have done, we understand your limitations in terms of your college, in terms of your other commitments. And that is where the module, the program, the way we have architected it, it takes care of your other commitments, so that if you have an intention, if you have got that drive, you definitely could be a part of this and be able to finish it for yourself, right? So module 2, we talked about the technical sessions. The module 1 will make you eligible for a participation certificate. Module 2, once you complete these, all these sessions, 10 sessions we are talking about, then you are going to be getting an education certificate from IBC Media. And the third, which is the logical outcome from module 1 and module 2, is the building process. And that's much more elaborate. We'll talk about that. But then that will help you build applications in the decentralized world, and which will earn you an internship certificate. As many internship certificates you build, you get, you acquire those skills, you acquire those, points on your profile, and the more sellable you become. But Are all these things going to come easy? Of course not. These will take commitments from your side as well. So guys, I think this is very important for you to appreciate. I'll just spend a little time on this. Today we are talking about the introduction, and tomorrow I'll also be trying to give you a snapshot into the rabbit hole of blockchain as to how exactly this space has been evolving for last 9 to 10 years, even more. And then we will go into the tech part tomorrow when we meet at 7 p.m. tomorrow, and then we will be getting into the fundamentals. Other next modules, module 2 and module 3, we will be sharing with you the deep dive, and the building sessions schedules very shortly. Let's look at, I already talked about the different ways we are engaging you. We are engaging you in ideation. We are engaging you in learning the technologies, all the technologies which are, which are ultra critical for you to become a Web3 developer. We'll be going through them. We will also be helping you build. We will be also helping you deploy these applications in the test environments. And then we will also be organizing the demo days with our sponsors. And if you are doing good, if your solutions are in line with our sponsors, which we will help you do that, you are also eyeing for big prizes and an attention from these sponsors, which increases your hireability, which increases your potential of landing a job of the number that Abhishek was talking about earlier, right? So while all these things are happening, we also will encourage you, and my team will reach out to you. We have got several ways in which we should communicate. One of the ways we think it is very effective is to have you join our Discord server. And this is a place where, a lot of things are happening. You are getting updated about, things which are important for you. There are experts whom you can ask questions about your journey. And this is going to be a very, very exciting and fun-filled journey. This, you should not take it, in a way that, this is going to be difficult, but having it, or traversing this journey in a, in a fun-filled way does not mean that there will be a slippage in effort. No, effort will be required from your side. I want to make it clear. And then only you are going to be reaching a place which you will be proud for yourself. Right? So let me kind of summarize before I move on to the next part of my session, that guys, Web3 is happening, and we have talked about it several times. The different business use cases which are emerging in Web3 space, in fact, the way businesses are being conducted, the model is changing right now. And why should that change? There are fundamental reasons for that happening. It is not by choice because, a technology has come and people are adopting. No, there are fundamental value creation which is happening by this technology. And that is why you see adoption by businesses, by enterprises. You must have heard of big brands getting into NFTs, big brands which are, migrating their businesses on blockchain, loyalty points. There are several different models, and we will talk about them. Don't worry about it if you don't understand all of them right now. We will be getting into all of these nitty-gritties very slowly, so that you start appreciating this world. Guys, one thing is that we are trying to do this, like Abhishek mentioned earlier. We definitely want to position you as one of the strongest contenders for this space, with respect to skills, with respect to your perspective, with respect to your, readiness. And that's going to happen if you are a part of this program, CEP, and this is not an year-long program. This is 3 months program in which you have to spend effort. And at the end of this, you are coming out with flying colors if you are committed. Right? So now let's, Deepak, so far so good?
Absolutely, sir. They're doing great.
Okay, so now let's come to, why blockchain and what is blockchain, right? Now, in the simplest language, if I describe blockchain, so it is a system. It's an information system which is decentralized, where there is no central entity which has got the command and control of the business rules. And that is pretty interesting. There is no central, like if you go to a bank has got all the, control of the business rules. But if you come to blockchain, now this is something which is decided by the community. Now, what else can you think about? And guys, I think if you understand how the systems have evolved over, thousands of years, basically, how exactly democracy has come in, how it has always been proved time and again that when people come together and then they think together, they decide together as a community, typically the decision taken is better than a person who is taking the decision alone. Now, that is something which is very important for this space. The second thing which is very important about blockchain is that so far, there was no concept of digital ownership. Now, you can always go and take a picture of some, hi-fi image, for example, Mona Lisa, and that image is floating around the internet. There was no mechanism to establish ownership of something which is a digital asset. Blockchain enables that. And these may not, or these may appear to you as big statements, but they have transformative, or they are transformational in nature when it comes to the potential of impact on the way we live, on the way we transact, on the way we behave. And that is where, if you look at blockchain, the industries where this is impacting, is endless. You think of an industry, blockchain can make an impact there. We'll talk about them. So what I'll be trying to cover today, very quickly, I'll be trying to give you some idea about the journey that it really has done so far, where all it started, right? How exactly, I'll try to give you a glimpse of the technologies which are in use here. We will be doing a deep dive session tomorrow, and we'll have some very interesting speakers tomorrow who will be talking on this. And then I'll also be giving you a glimpse about how exactly this really has been impacting our lives. That is very important, because until something is so important that it started impacting the people's life, it cannot really have an impact. It cannot have an adoption. And that's what is this technology capable of. Okay, and for sure we will be talking about some of these things which really we have been seeing, and where do we go from here? Is it just an anticipation, or there is some truth to it? Let's talk about that. Okay, today's session is definitely not to make you an expert in blockchain. For that, you will have to sustain with us throughout the CEP program, which will give you that level of competence with which you have joined today's session. And it may happen that by accident you have come to this session today, but believe me, this is one of the most beautiful accidents that you can think of happening in your life. Right? And I would also encourage that people who are close to you, people who are your friends, if they are not here today, get them here. It's very important for you to kind of, be here. Okay.
Yeah, Praveen, can I say something?
Yeah,
if
please.
you don't mind.
Go ahead, Abhishek.
So thank you, everyone. I would like to suggest that everyone, this is, however you got here, it is important that you're here and we will talk about things that you need to be a great developer in Web3, and one of them is sharing. And sharing information, because Web3 is all open source. It's all how much you can build and share in the community. And the more you share, the better engineer you become, the more people recognize you, the better jobs you get. So make sure that you share this with all your friends who you think can benefit from it, because the more your peer group is there from the developer standpoint, the more you are recognized in the Web3 community. That's one. Two, I do want to heartily congratulate and thank the SPOCs in each of these colleges who have helped us do this outreach to make sure that they will see the progress. And I can guarantee you, by the time you finish this program, you will find that your lives have changed in a meaningful way. And everybody who came to the program, in the offline program, they only tell us one thing, that we have changed their lives, just from the orientation alone, and going through the program is such a blessing. So guys, again, thank you so much for being here. And also thank you so much to the SPOCs for guiding these students to be here. And I think it's too good to be true from an opportunity perspective, but it is happening worldwide and people are getting that return. So Praveen, over to you. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. Thank you so much. Before we go further, so I'll tell you a story. In fact, it's my life story. I was in New York in 2008 and 9 duration, and I think I come from this tech industry with over 25 years of experience. I'm a cloud architect in AWS at professional level, and I'm also a CFA level 1 having cleared person. CFA is Chartered Financial Analyst, one of the toughest financial credentials in the world. And also I have gone for executive MBA from INSEAD, which is top B school in France, in Fontainebleau and Singapore. In my job profile, I was in New York. I was working for one of the biggest banks in US, and it was 2008 primarily, and suddenly the whole Wall Street and the whole banking ecosystem of US started failing. And in fact, I was witnessing being in the center of the whole fiasco. And this fiasco did not get limited to US, but if I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this crisis, which is called subprime mortgage crisis in 2008 and 9, which really spread across to the whole globe. The whole world got impacted. Why did this happen? There are a lot of technicalities in this. We will spend some time when we move our journey into CEP. We will definitely talk about all of these things. But today, in the interest of time, I'll tell you the whole centralized systems, be it banks, be it regulators, be it auditors, be it the credit bureaus, be it the certifying agencies, all of these people, everybody in this world have their business objective to fulfill. And when these business objectives, they become the primary motive of any enterprise, then it does not take a long time for them to become unethical. They stop following the business rules, which are correct, but they start doing things which are good for them in their own way, irrespective of what impact it makes on the whole ecosystem as a whole. So coming from the finance background, I understand it was a very, very complicated system in which people were given loans. And you understand the mortgage business, right? In India also, if you go for a loan, then they will check your salary details, they will check the value of your mortgage property, they will check you 100 things. Then they will grant you loan, right? What happened that point in time? And there are several things which really preceded to this event, but then making it short, they started giving loans to people who were, first of all, the property was not prime, it's subprime, and the buyers were also not qualifying. But then interest rate was so low that everybody wanted to get loan, and all banks, in the process of making money, they started giving loan. And what happened? First of all, the value of the property started rising drastically. So, for example, there is a $100,000 house which got inflated to $500,000. The person got $500,000 loan when he got that, house acquired. Bought. And then what happened? He had a huge EMI pressure. Now, the guy who bought this house, the bank which gave this loan, he will take some money and he'll give this property to some other bank, and that another bank gives it to some other bank, and this becomes a very, very complex derivative web. Now, again, if you're not a finance guy, you will not understand, but don't worry about that. The basic thing I'm talking about, that all banks, all certifying agencies, all people who are involved in these transactions, they were just looking at what they are getting into the transaction. Nobody is worried about ecosystem. And suddenly what happened? People started defaulting. The value of the house fell down, and people were, now if the loan has been given 500,000, suddenly that house becomes value $25,000. It's all done. The money disappeared. Somebody made money and went out. Now, all these, and this is one illustration, the history is full of such instances where the centralized entities, they never hesitate in exploiting the ecosystem. And that time only, there is a person or people we don't know, his or her name is Satoshi Nakamoto. He comes up with a system. He comes up with a system of peer-to-peer transaction without any central system being there. So this was such a time, and such an important time, or such the right time for this paper to come out, and people were shocked to see something like this is possible. Now, how he did this? Did he invent everything which was new? No. All these technologies which were there earlier only, he just made brilliant use of all the technologies which were existing then, and then came out with a system which became the foundation of the whole blockchain technology. Now, this is how it all started, guys. If you look at a blockchain, more deeply, it is just nothing but a chain of blocks. Now, what do these blocks contain? These blocks contain transactions. Now, these transactions are, they follow a certain set of rules, which everybody has to abide by. And then these transactions get encoded into a block by some process. Okay, we'll get to them later. But at the end of the day, they are integrated in such a way that the current block has got connection with the previous block, and the previous block has the connection with the previous block, and ultimately going up to the first block, which is called the Genesis block I am showing here. And all of these, if you go and touch one block, if you go and try to manipulate a transaction in a particular block, all blocks after that becomes invalid. They become invalid. Now, that's the security we are talking about. Once a data or transaction gets written in a block, then it cannot be modified. You cannot go and change that. It has to be corrected by overwriting a transaction on top of that, but you can't go and change the previous transaction. So now let's keep it for at this level for now. Let's go further. Now, how exactly these happen? So one thing that I want to make very clear to you, that when we say blockchain, then we are talking about a network of computers connected together, which they all follow one particular set of rules, such as all the computers which are connected to Bitcoin network, they are part of the Bitcoin blockchain or Bitcoin network. Similar to that, Abhishek talked about Ethereum, which came in 2014. Now Ethereum came and Ethereum introduced a concept of smart contract programmability, where you say that, X person gives, some money to Y, but then what are the conditions, business conditions under which this money flows? If that business logic is not captured, then this becomes a peer-to-peer money value, which has peer-to-peer money transfer system, which has value, but that cannot solve the real world problems. That is where, when Ethereum came, Ethereum introduced the concept of programmability, where you can go and write your logic. If this happens, then X gives money to Y. Now, this statement opened the possibilities of all different business use cases, what you are seeing right now. From 2014 to 2023, we are right now in these last 9 years, this space has evolved. Several possibilities have been, explored, and this world has become a completely different world, showing enormous amount of possibilities which this technology has to offer. I hope you are getting the point. So Ethereum, all computers on Ethereum network, they are part of that blockchain network. Similar to that, our headline sponsor, Polkadot. Polkadot is another, set of another ecosystem, which has got its own rules, which has got its own technology foundation. Similar to that, there are several blockchains which are coming up. Why are so many blockchains coming up? This is the place which is a hub of innovation right now. Any blockchain is not perfect. When Ethereum came, they were the path-breaking solution, but they had some constraints. Somebody came up and said, okay, let us solve all the problems which Ethereum has today, and let us solve them and come up with a new blockchain. Now, somebody else comes and creates, okay, now this blockchain has got some problems. Let's fix that. So now this is happening in a way in which several blockchains are coming. Fragmentation is happening. Liquidity is being shared, or liquidity is becoming fragmented completely. But with all these challenges, one thing is for sure, that the space is evolving. And I'm just showing you an example of how exactly these things happen. For example, I am in Bitcoin network, or I'm in Ethereum network, or I'm in Polkadot network. Okay, people send their transactions, and once they send their transactions, that those transactions get published, and they are lying in a pool of transactions, which is called mempool. Now, mempool is a place where these transactions are lying until these transactions are picked up by some miners in proof of work. We'll talk about consensus mechanism later, but right now we understand they are picked up by somebody who wants to include these transactions in the next block. And once this happens, they're solving some puzzle there, and after solving the puzzle, the person who is being able to solve this puzzle the first, that person gets an opportunity to make the next block, and that person gets rewarded differently in different blockchains. That's the whole process we are talking about here. Right? Deepak, so far so good?
Yes, sir. All good.
Okay, guys, I think I'll try to be a little, introductory today, so that you don't get confused. But so far, I think I'm trying to make things very clear. There are different blockchains. Bitcoin could be one, Ethereum is another, Polkadot is another, Solana, Avalanche. There are so many blockchains. They all have their own business rules. They're all trying to solve their problems. But at the end of the day, all of these are decentralized. There is no centralized server which is taking the calls, which is taking the shots. And all of them have a unique mechanism to ensure that the transactions which are coming for different business systems on the platform, they get included in the block, and the block is immutable, and the block continues moving forward. That's what is the basic thing. Right? Now, there could be different types of blockchains. There are some of these blockchains that I talked about. They are public blockchains. Anybody can come in, anybody can leave, no permission required. But then there are other types of blockchains in which we call them permissioned blockchain, in which this is a set of people coming together and they are trying to solve some problem which is a very, very unique problem. For example, 10 banks come together and then they create a consortium and they try to do their business in a particular way, right? So they are permission blockchain. They are little centralized, little regulated, but still have the benefit of, some benefits of decentralization, such as Hyperledger. There are different Hyperledger projects. You can go and look at the Linux Foundation they have. Then you have got Coda, Arthi Coda. There are many such projects. You can go and look at them. Some of the things that I will talk about in my next slide basically are hashing, nonce. You understand mining? Mining is the process of creating the next block. Sorry. I talked about how it happens, about the process that I talked about earlier. So the same process is followed. We talked about trust. One of the beauty of this blockchain system is that you don't need to trust anyone. You're not trusting your bank, who is showing 5 lakhs rupees your balance today. And if there is a system problem, or if somebody becomes greedy, he goes and makes that 5 lakhs to 4.5 lakhs or 50,000, takes the rest of money. I mean, you never know. There are controls in place in those systems also, I'm not denying, but still you are trusting somebody. Here, you don't need to trust anybody. The system, algorithm, the code has to be trusted. Once you define the rules, nobody can change these rules. And everybody, can see what rules have been defined. Now, that's the beauty here. We talked about nodes. We will talk a little later. So what happens in this process? So let me take an example of keeping it at little high level for today's session, that there are different computers which participate in a particular blockchain network in order to create the next block, or there could be non-block creators also. So these guys are called, who are participating in node, the block formation, they are called nodes. What do these guys do? They do nothing, but they run the application or software which is required for that particular blockchain. Okay. And they do some basic activities which are required for them to be sustaining their status as a node. Okay. Now, we talked about transactions. Now, let me tell you one thing. So let's take example of any blockchain. So what happens when a blockchain gets created and the programmability where people can go and program on that blockchain, then several possibilities start opening up there. For example, you can go and create a finance application on a particular blockchain. You can go, and that could be lending application, that could be derivative product application, that could be insurance application, that could be anything. If you want to go, you can create a gaming application. That's a very, very important use case for you to understand today, that this gaming is going to be one of the most critical factors of expansion of this blockchain space. So you can go and create a Web3 version of a game in which whatever you earn as tokens or whatever is your earning, you can take that money out of the game, which was not possible earlier in the Web2 games. If any of you are playing Web2 games, you understand what I'm saying. In Web2 games, you go and play, you earn something, you can use that earning in the game only. You cannot encash that, you cannot cash it out. But if you create a gaming application in Web3, you can go and cash it out. You can go and exchange that token in a decentralized exchange or other exchanges and get real dollars. Imagine the value. Now you could go and create a gaming application, you can go and create a music application, you can go and create a movie application, you can do 100 types of application. All of these are decentralized applications, we call them dApps, running on the same foundation level of the blockchain, be it Ethereum, be it Polka, be it Solana, be it Avalanche. All of them have their own ecosystem of different applications running. And all of these applications when the users interact with those applications, then the users trigger transactions on the application. Now, how do you identify whether the transaction what you are sending is sent by you? For that, we come to cryptography. Now, cryptography is something which is very, very interesting subject for you guys to explore, in which right now we are talking about public key cryptography, where there is a private key and the public key, key pair. Now, this key pair, when you are sending a transaction to the blockchain, then you sign your transaction with your private key, which is equivalent to your password. When this transaction goes into the blockchain, and if somebody is trying to validate whether you are the person who is sending this transaction, this can be done using your public key. So the person who is validating, he does not need to know your private key. He will be validating the transaction based on the public key that you have. And that way he can be sure that you are the guy who has sent this transaction. Now, this basically is the signature scheme, which is very, very important. So any transaction which is sent to the blockchain has to be signed by a person who is originating that transaction. Now, this transaction can come from finance application, could be from game, could be from insurance, could be from agriculture, could be from any application. But at the end of the day, they all mean nothing but they are transactions in the eyes of the blockchain. Right? And once these transactions go, and I talked about these transactions going and lying in a pool, which is called mempool. And in this mempool, all these transactions accumulate unless somebody, a node, goes and picks them up, does the validation, and puts them into a block, next block. Okay. Now, if you are looking at my screen right now, I'm explaining it very clearly, all different points. And then comes a hashing. So what happens in a block? So a block, as I talked about earlier, block has got so many transactions. Now, these transactions are basically hashed. What do you mean by that? So you go and run a hashing algorithm on top of this transaction data, and then you come up with a number, which is a finite byte of number. Now, depending upon what algorithm you use. So, for example, let's say Bitcoin uses SHA-256. So what happened here, that this, once you apply this algorithm, SHA-256 on the data, transaction data, it gives you a byte. It gives you 256 byte of output. Okay. Now, what happens here? If in a block, there are several transactions are coming into, and finally one final hashing is done on the data. And then there is a challenge, which is, I talked about difficulty level, I talked about a challenge here. So what is the challenge that the person has to solve to become the next miner, to get the next node in his, in his bucket? So he has to go and find out that he has to get and find out a solution to the problem where you are said that, okay, find a hashing outcome which has got first 15 as zeros, for example. Now, how do you get that? You have to keep trying again and again. You have to keep doing hashing. Everything is same. You just go and change one number. And that number is called nonce. Guys, you may not understand everything, but please pay utmost attention and focus on what I'm saying today. So what you do, go and change. You take all the data, take nonce as 1 and hash it. Do you get an outcome which has got first 15 zeros? No. Increase the nonce to 2. And then you go and again hash it. Did you get another outcome which is first 15 zeros, as zeros? You don't get. You keep on doing this. You keep on. You may have to do it 10,000 times, 50,000 times, 1 lakh times. And this is where comes the security mechanism, because you have to do this, and especially in proof of work mechanism. Once you do this, and so after running so long, you get, a hash outcome which has got first 15 as zeros, and then whoever gets this first, he announces to the world that, look, guys, I have got this, hash outcome. Now let me give let me make the next, next block. And then he announces the world, people validate. Now, he may take 50,000 times to get to a hash, to a nonce, which gives him that hash. But verifying that is very easy. In seconds, you can verify. So people verify whether he has got it, and then he continues. But in the whole process, you may have heard that Bitcoin is too energy consuming protocol. The reason is that if everybody is trying to do hashing consumes a lot of energy, and everybody is trying to do that, right? So you consume a lot of energy there. So what happens in the whole process? You consume a lot of energy, but you are getting a secured system. Now, if somebody goes and tries to, can somebody go and guess a number? 26,344 is the nonce, which gives me the first 15 0. No, nobody can guess that. So the only way to reach there is by doing all these things. So this is a limitation of proof of work mechanism. And to solve this, people came with very other things. One of the things is proof of a stake, in which you don't need to do this computation, but you stake some money in the system. And once you do some money, and if you are being a good boy or good girl, you will be rewarded. But if you are becoming a bad guy, then you will be penalized. Your whatever money you have put in there, they will slash some money there. So that way they're trying to, it is not as good as proof of work in terms of security. There are ways, loopholes, but then still it is of good enough solution to proof of work. Guys, I think it is a too heavy conversation I'm doing right now. So you don't get worried if you don't understand everything here. But this is a foundation that I'm trying to build today, as I told earlier, that based on this, go and do your research. When we talk again, we will talk on many of these things again and again. Okay, so you will get a lot of clarity. But one thing I can tell you, to the extent you are seeing my slides as colorful, this blockchain world is full of colors. Beautiful world. If you are an innovative guy, if you want to do something good in your life, welcome. You are in the right meeting.
Praveen, I do want to touch on what it takes to be a good Web3 developer. We always talk about it. Are you going to touch that tomorrow, or are you going to touch that like when are we touching on that?
I was planning to do it tomorrow, Abhishek. We are having a session, ways to become a Web3 developer for tomorrow.
Right. So, which includes the, what skills, the basic skills all the students need to have, right? Which includes, the research, etc.
You may want to cover that in the next 2 minutes quickly. That would be great right now.
Yeah. So, everyone, all students here, I just want to lay it out there. We have a certain set of skills that we like. Praveen pointed out a little bit about the technicality and background beyond in blockchain space. I do want to point out that Web3, being a Web3 developer is very different than being a Web2 developer, or maybe it's a similar but better. I would say that in the Web3 world, because you're working with global companies, putting global projects together, it's a little more entrepreneurial for a Web3 developer. A Web3 developer is basically almost like an entrepreneur. You get a lot of freedom in a Web3 development space, but you need to have certain skills that you want to sharpen, because people are going to look for these skills. You need to, and when I say you need to know the skills, you need to know not just basic skills, but you need to know how to do a few things in an organized fashion. And that will be something that we will learn more and more and more, but we will be focusing on these skills for you to know how to problem solve. And these are your problem solving skills. The very first skill is, you might think you know how to Google, but how to Google is very different from how to research, right? So you need to know how to research is the number one skill. So how to Google. The second is how to learn. You might think you know how to watch YouTube, but how to use YouTube to learn is another skill set, right? Third is you might be using chat apps, but you might need to learn how to use social media as a Web3 developer, because social media in Web3 is the best way to find jobs, the best way to communicate, right? Do you know how to use Discord? Do you know how to use, all the social media that Web3 uses, right? There are different tools that you have to use. The other thing is you need to learn how to troubleshoot, like how to do debugging, how to find these debugging methods in Web3. So that's a very important skill to have, right? So these are, I would say, 5 or 6 skills that we will share a note with you that you need to keep that as on top of your mind, saying anytime you're Googling, anytime you're watching YouTube, anytime you're doing social media, anytime you're doing debugging, you have to pay attention saying, okay, these are my skills that I'm going to use in my daily job in Web3. So, we'll talk more on this subject, but Praveen, this is something that obviously we need to reiterate because we all take it for granted, but these are all skills that you will be using in a more organized fashion in Web3 as a developer. And these are, at a superficial level, they look very premature, but honestly, these are skills that you will pick up over a period of time. Yeah, Praveen, over to you. Thanks.
Yeah, very rightly said, Abhi, because I think these skill sets or these attributes in you, they make your journey so easy. They make your journey so fast. So I think very rightly said. So guys, we will be talking about them again and again. We understand that these are the basic attributes you should have to become a strong Web3 developer, pretty soon. Okay. So I think I have talked about hashing a signature. I will not spend a lot of time here, but then you have to understand this thing, that the hashing is something where you give an input, apply an algorithm, and that could be anything. This is not a cryptography class, so I will not go into too details into that, but basically you get an outcome, and that outcome, knowing that outcome, you cannot find what was the input. So for example, if you say Apple, hash it, you get something. But if you, if you know something, you cannot find this is Apple. That's the beauty here, number one. Second thing, if you change a little bit in the input, the outcome becomes completely different. That's pretty beauty of, hashing. And the second feature we talked about, the private key and the public key. Now, these two technologies were available earlier also. It's not that this was invented when the Bitcoin was invented, but this was used in a very, very beautiful way, in such a way. And guys, you should know that Bitcoin system or network has not been hacked yet. Why? Such a strong system. By using these techniques, sorry about that. By using these techniques, they have, or Satoshi came up with such a beautiful model where you cannot just go and break it. Now, that's the beauty here. Okay. I talked about it, right? That different transactions are taken, they are aggregated, and ultimately these hashes, for example, transaction 1 is hash 2, hash 1, transaction 2 is hash 2, hash 2, then transaction hash 1 and hash 2 hashed together to give HS12. Similar to that, 3-4 gives me HS34. They again get hashed together, and then they become part of the block if the miner chooses the transaction. And there are again a lot of financial models there. We'll not go into this today. If you want to know, research more on that, or in the future sessions of CEPs, I would personally get into some of these things in more detail, and my team will get into more details, and you will be able to grasp some of these things very, very, deeply. So again, I am telling you, this is going to be a very, very exciting journey, but don't expect everything to come on your platter. That way you will not become a good Web3 developer. You have to do a lot of hard work, but I can tell you that this journey is going to be very, very exciting and rewarding. You need to be a part of this kind of thing. And again, I will say it again, that no company, as of I know, and Abhishek will second me on that, that is thinking of expanding this ecosystem. Everybody is trying to create hackathons where somebody who knows programming who comes and builds in that. No, we are saying that no. Let us expand the boundary. Let this reach to you. And I was reading the comment in the chat that I am first year student. Nilanjan, you said first. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I mean, you need salutation. You need respect anyway. So, Mr. Nilanjan, I definitely respect you for that. And I was telling you, I was in one of the panels, and I was telling this in one of the talks I was giving earlier, that I was in a panel discussion, and the guy who was with
Praveen,
me,
I would like to, I would like to address that first year student.
Okay,
and guys, I'll tell you, if you are a first year student right now in this time, you are probably the luckiest person to be in this call, because you have more time to even get a job before you graduate. So unfortunately, the fourth years and the third years has limited time to catch up with all of this. But I'm telling you, the more time you have, the more projects you build with us, the more internship certificates you get, you have a job before even you graduate. I can tell that for sure.
Absolutely.
So continue, Praveen. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. No, very, very rightly said. So the point is that you get more time to prepare. And I think, see, the kind of opportunity this space is giving is equal to all, number one, right? And people who are early, of course, they get advantage. But the people who are in second year, third year, final year, can they accommodate? Yes.
And Praveen, you may want to emphasize that, the employers in Web3, they don't care about whether you're first year, second year, third year, fourth year, whether you have an undergraduate degree or not, or the entire requirement of the industry in the Web3 world, which is coming at us at a very high speed. The industry requirement is about whether you can be a developer. Can you deliver? It is no more about your first year, second year, or last year, or fourth. There was a time when we used to think about jobs when we were in fourth year. Right now, people are building projects, getting jobs, and participating in these hackathons even from first year. I mean, I know students who are now joining our hackathons from 12th grade. So it's only about how much you can work and how much skill you can develop right now, irrespective of what your education stage is or field is. Praveen, sorry.
100%.
I'm just
100%.
basically trying to make sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I think very rightly said. See, I'll tell you, I was giving an example of a panel I was into, and one of my panel members who was, in the panel, and I was very, very impressed with his knowledge of the subject in blockchain. And after the panel discussion, I was talking to him and I asked him, what is your background? What do you do? How much experience do you have? He said, sir, I'm in 10th grade or 11th grade. I said, come on. I mean, the point is that, look, all these things are not important. Are you having a drive? Are you having the passion to make a difference to this world? If you have, we are there with you. IBC Media is there with you. That's what only thing I can tell you right now. And with that intention only, we have designed this program. Okay, going to next. And I was talking about some of the areas in which this blockchain technology has been immense. And now this is just a list. It has got hundreds of different areas. So don't say that only these areas. These are some of the areas that came to my mind, such as transportation, lending, exchanges, finance, DeFi, supply chain, agriculture, real estate, insurance, movie, music, e-commerce, you name and it is there. Now, in what way they are happening there? If you're talking about metaverses, if you're talking about NFTs, if you're talking about, DeFi applications, if you're talking about banking application, all these things are getting merged. The boundaries are thinning. You can have a bank in a metaverse. You can give loan in a metaverse. You can go and have a movie theater in a metaverse. You can go and have a shopping center in the metaverse. You can do anything. So all these things are pretty, and this is the way now, if you talk about the Generation Z right now, what you all are part of. In fact, I was reading somewhere, guys, very interesting, that people who are born after 2020 or 2019, they won't understand the physical world, what we had. They are metaverse native population. So for them, it is a very different thing altogether. Now, we are in a junction where we are comparing. You guys compare less, we compare more, because we have seen, I going to the newspaper and magazine stall and buying the magazines in my childhood days. If I had to search a word, I had to go and look into a physical dictionary, Oxford dictionary, if you remember. We used to go and find a word by alphabetically. Nowadays, just type this in Google and you find the meaning. Now the world has moved from there as well. So I compare this, but you will not compare all of that. Imagine the next generation, they have got different habits altogether. So the world is changing. The whole way the people conduct on this planet, it is changing. So you have to be, now the choice is yours, whether you really want to be with the technology and be a part of this game, or stand out and watch from outside, things growing here. So it is very, very obvious choice in my opinion. Okay. Some of the things that I think we at IBC Media think, how exactly is going to be the future of this technology. In our opinion, exponential adoption is going to happen. There are a lot of things happening in this space, which are trying to solve some of the fundamental issues. There will be regulations, more clarity will come in regulations. The states will participate, and Abhishek talked about the willingness of the different organizational bodies, the government bodies who are coming together, helping understand, helping make this system mature, help get people be a part of this system. So the whole ecosystem is going to be, working towards it. A lot of tokenization. I have not talked a lot on tokenization today. We will talk about that some other time, but significant representation of the real world things will happen in the blockchain world. And that's what is called tokenization. A lot of work will happen. Your driver's license will be in the form of NFT. Your property papers will be in the form of NFC, NFT. Everything, your invoices will be in the form of NFT. Whatever you can imagine. Why? Because this system is creating value. It is not just for the matter of fashion or just following the trend. No, it is creating value. It is creating the ownership. It is creating, giving an ease of transactions in the virtual world. All these things are making this happen. Guys, so the future is here. You need to be a part of this. I think I am done pretty much, Deepak. This is a link tree which we have, in which you can scan it and you will get the, the location of all the, all the social media channels of IBC Media. And, on the right side, you have my, LinkedIn Connect. If you really are interested, I think if you want to learn more about, please feel free to connect with me. So I think with these things, Deepak, I think I am good from my side. Let me know if there is anything that, people need an answer for the question.
Thank you so much, sir. That was quite amazing. And I am sure students would already have learned a lot from where they might have started during this conversation, from the insights from you and Abhishek, sir, of course. So I will just take a look at the Q&A. Most of the Q&As we have been answering live while they were coming in. And I'll just see if there is something that you would want to address. So here's a question where a student, Shiva Kumar, is asking, if we are using Ethereum blockchain, then it is indirectly becoming centralized, right? Because Ethereum can modify the transactions because it is under their control. How decentralization is achieved here? Question mark. So if you want to take that up, sir.
No, absolutely. So Ethereum is a platform which provides the transaction ability to people. At the end of the day, Ethereum, there are different applications which are built on Ethereum. Ethereum has nothing to do with all of that. Those transactions are validated by validators. Ethereum, right now, they have moved from proof of work to proof of stake recently. And with that, having said, these validators are the people who are validating the transaction. Ethereum as a company, there's nothing like that. And Ethereum does not come anywhere in the transaction. So Ethereum is the perfect case of decentralization. Now, decentralization extent is a big debate. We can do some other time, where what is the extent of decentralization you are thinking when you are having different set of validators. But as a concept, any such platform, be it Ethereum or Solana or Polka or any, these are the platforms upon which applications are built, transactions happen, validators come into picture who validate the transactions. The platforms have to do nothing apart from providing you an ecosystem in which these transactions can happen. Ethereum does it by means of something called Ethereum virtual machine. That's a virtual machine sort of thing, and all nodes operate those EVMs on their machine, and transactions are verified in accordance with the rules set in the EVM. Ethereum has to do nothing.
So Praveen, I'll give a more less technical answer to this, and the question was, if everybody is using Ethereum, how come Ethereum is not centralized, right? I think for that you need to understand that Ethereum is not a company. It's not like Google. It's basically a blockchain platform where everybody, like, you can go on Ethereum and be the owner of some data that you are putting on Ethereum. So, for example, it's almost, I'm trying to think of a much better, easier analogy for you to understand that Ethereum is almost like a, what do I say? It's an open source blockchain where anybody can go and put a transaction. It is not owned by any company. That's why it's not central. And the entire recording of the ledger, on the ledger happens through the community. Somebody votes for the transaction to go on the chain, and the transaction is recorded, automated by the technology that is being used inside Ethereum. So it is not owned by anybody. Nobody can say yes or no. No one person can say yes or no that, okay, if let's say Shiva is saying, I want to put this transaction on Ethereum, there is no Ethereum company owner can say no to Shiva. It's basically based on community to decide whether Shiva's transaction will go on the chain or not. So hence it's a very open system where anybody can go and use Ethereum as a transaction platform. So I don't know if that answers the questions, but Praveen, I think that's really, we need to maybe provide a better description of why Ethereum is not a centralized but a decentralized system.
No, absolutely. So I think there is nothing centralized here. See, the point is that these are set of rules. And I was telling you, like Bitcoin, these are set of rules which are defined. The community takes a call, on changing the rules. Similar to that in Ethereum, they have got something called ERC. Okay. Now, ERC is basically all these request or proposal which the community feels that should change should change in the rules, and the community, like Abhishek mentioned, they vote on these rules. And finally, if the community as a whole thinks that these rules are changed, should change, the rule gets changed. So there is nothing called centralization here, by the way. Now, the point I was talking about, the extent of decentralization, that is a very deep subject in blockchain. I think that is not for today. We will talk on some other day. The validators coming from different geographies, different make, there are a lot of complexities there. So let's not go into that right now. But in general, all these blockchain systems, they are decentralized. Deepak?
Yes, sir. Thank you. We'll go to the next question. So we have, is Web 3.0 somehow related to UI design?
Very good question. In fact, very good question. Abhishek, I'll take the answer. So Web3, like we said, Web3, and I think Abhishek talked about that in the beginning, that Web1 was basically a single directional communication in which you could go and watch things or read things. Web2 became two-dimensional, where a lot of community engagement happened, like Amazon or Facebook. You know, the content creation came in the hands of the community, but no ownership. Web3 is the ownership, where the most important attribute of Web3 is there, where you can own things. For example, you can own the digital property. You can own in the form of your own digital asset. Now, that is something which was not there in Web2. Okay. Now, when it comes to this building these Web3 solutions, and we will talk about these things, some of these things tomorrow, that when we talk about building these Web3 solutions, this is a full stack solution. It will have UI UX for sure. It will have front-end development. It will have back-end development in the form of the blockchain side of development, which is typically smart contract development. And then you have got connecting pipes like JavaScript libraries. There are different JS libraries which have been created. They help you connect your front-end to the back-end. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it is a full-fledged solution which may appear to you as the end user just like Web2, but in the back end, it is completely different. So I hope I answered your question. So this really has got everything that you can imagine, plus so many things which are there in Web3 extra. Deepak?
Absolutely, sir. So yeah, thank you. So there are some queries related to verifying yourself on Discord. So Praveen sir and Abhishek sir, I think I'll just give a quick demo on the same, and so that because a lot of people have this question, and I don't think there are other questions. Of course, most of the questions have been answered live, and some of the questions have been taken. But if more questions come while I do the demonstration of Discord, then we'll definitely take it up.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Deepak.
Thank you, sir. I'll just share my screen again. Stop share. Okay. Yeah. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So this is Discord. I'm sure most of you have already joined. If you haven't joined already, guys, we have already shared the Discord QR code. That's the most simple way to join. Otherwise, you can just go on the website ibc.media. All the information is there. Go on Discord. Go on a WhatsApp chat message. You'll also get a WhatsApp chat info where you can join and you can ask. You can stay updated constantly with what's latest happening and all the sessions that will be coming along the way. So just to give you an intro, when you join in on our Discord server, you'll see a lot of things on my left index over here. So you may not be seeing most of them because if you are not verified. So the most simple thing that you do when you land on our Discord server, which is the IBC Media Discord server, is you go here in verify here. So all you need to do is that you will just click on this tick sign here. That's the verification sign. So you just click it here and your account will be verified. So what verification is, why we have put this verification is just because we want to avoid the bots, and it's just a small simple way to make sure that because we have thousands of members in our Discord server, so we don't want it to be inflected with bots, because bots generally try to come into the groups like ours where they find a lot of people and people might want to target the information that we have. So that's the best way that we can keep them away from us. So make sure that you verify yourself, and once you verify yourself, you'll start seeing a lot of things on the left. So right now when we're talking about CEP, the CEP Alt Hack CEP 3, so it's basic Alt Hack 3 CEP. It's basically the ones for the students who are there in WISAG, and of course at the same time everybody else who may not have been part of WISAG, but they can simply come and join with us. All you need to do is register on this form here. This form has already been shared with you all. So if you haven't registered yet, then the link has already been shared by our team in the chat section. Just go and click on it and let's register the form. Our close to 500 students have already registered. I mean, around 600 students have, around 1,000 students have shown interest. Around close to 400 plus have already registered. More are going to be registering with us in a couple of days. We are trying to make sure that all of you register on time so that you don't miss out on the sessions that we are doing. So make sure you do that. Yeah, so coming to some of the questions that you might have regarding today's session, or you may have in the coming days, all you need to do is make sure that you are active in the IBC CEP section over here. You have the IBC Alt Hack category. You have the CEP section here. Go and put your questions over here. And when we do the sessions, if you have questions later on, you can also come here and put your questions here. And at the same time, if there are other questions regarding blockchain or Web3 or some other things you want to build or you're building, so you can just go in the ask a question category and just put your question over here. And our participants, you see a lot of people over here. One of our students from Hyderabad, Mr. Puneet Khatri, has been quite active. He even he's active to an extent that he keeps helping other students, you know, not just with verifying here, but a lot of other things, even trying to help them with their projects. So it's a good experience. There's a lot of interaction happening. There are some fun stuff as well. If you want to, you know, take a break from all this heavy load of information, you can go have a conversation about football or some random conversations or crypto, NFT, cricket, meme, whatever. It's totally up to you. We also have some board games. So it's a fun environment over here. You can go spend some time over here and obviously learn a lot at the same time, because learning is the most important thing that we want you to take away from this experience. And I'll just give you a quick show of our website. This is our website. IBC Alt Hack is the entire ecosystem. So we have hackathon tracks, we have on-ground Hackfest, continuous education program. So hackathon tracks are the tracks where, you know, you will learn about the different sponsors and partners who are with us, who have given us tracks where you need to solve certain problems. Like now IBC Hack 3 is live. So you just go over here and you check out the tracks that are open and you can start building. But obviously that will come secondary, and we will be guiding you through the entire process once we start the CEP sessions, because then only it'll add context. Otherwise, it's just going to be a heavy flow of information for you. Similarly, we have the CEP program on ground Hackfest. Most of you might already know. We had a lot of photos shared in our groups. Make sure you check it out. You might also see a lot of your friends to tag them, ask them to check out, and obviously ask them to join us on ground on this virtual sessions of the continuous education program. So I'll tell you how it is all connected. So we have hackathon tracks for any developer who, you know, wants to directly come in and start building. So you can just go and register yourself in any of the hackathons over here, but 2 of them are closed. Live currently is hackathon 3. Hackathon 4 is going to be coming soon. And yeah, so if you want to go start building right away, if you have the right kind of information to build, then definitely you can go and start building. Secondly, if you do not know exactly how to build and you want to participate in our on-ground Hackfest, so I'll give you a context. On-ground Hackfests are basically Hackfests that we conduct in certain colleges or institutions. Like in Hyderabad, we did with our partner Tech Mahindra. It was an incredible event over there. And then in Vizag, we did an on-ground Hackfest. In GVPCE, amazing college, amazing support, and amazing students that we had over here. Brilliant ideas that they came up with, and we were quite excited to, you know, to do the CEP and start working with them on their projects. And obviously the continuous education program is for everyone who may not have been part of on-ground Hackfest but wants to learn virtually. They can just come in and join us over here, like the session we are doing. We'll move on to the other modules like Praveen sir has discussed. Right now we are in module 1, session 1. You'll have the session 2 of module 1, which is basically the laying the foundation of this entire process. We'll do the second session of module 1 tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll also discuss the detailed schedule of what we will learning. You will learn from our experts, you'll hear from them, and what other subjects we will be covering through this entire journey. So that's a brief overview of our website, of the things that we are trying to cover. So this is CEP1. Students in Hyderabad are already working on it. They are in the building phase right now. Many of them already participated in some of our tracks. Like one was the Fala track, where we had dozens of participants come in and they completed the projects. They had a NFT airdrop after they completed the workshop, and they are also going to get 500 Fala tokens, which is close to around 4,500 rupees. I think, I'm not sure, the data keeps changing, I'm just guessing here, but it's somewhere close to that. So these kind of incentives, so that's a very small incentive. We are talking in a couple of thousands of dollars when you complete projects. So that's a very good experience. We are giving you an entire journey. You start with the basics, you move on to the technical sessions, and then you move on to the building sessions. So if you dedicate time, if you dedicate yourself, the right amount of hard work, I don't think anything can stop you. I mean, I really want to see many participants, many students here, and obviously Hyderabad students, all of us working effortlessly and at the same time with a lot of hard work to complete these projects, and not just complete, in fact, win these competitions, because the challenges that are thrown at us by our sponsors is not just about, it's not just to get you an experience into their ecosystem. They also want to hire you, right? So when you complete their projects, they see the kind of development you can do, they see the kind of real world problem solving skills that you have, and they get the opportunity to see your real skills. And that's where they hire you. Because if you see one of the challenges that we had in Fala, and one of the persons who actually solved it for them is now working with them. He also does a lot of workshops, and with IBC Media he has also done workshops, and where he came and explained how to complete the workshops, how to build. And his name is Joshua, you can check him out. And that's the kind of examples we want to set from us. Like, for example, you go and complete projects, and definitely you open yourselves up to be hired from these by these partners. And you have, like, it cannot be described in words, the kind of opportunity you have here. Because like Abhishek sir said, if he had that kind of opportunity, I mean, that it would have set the course in a very different manner. So make sure that you make the maximum use of it. So if you are in IBC, like right now we are talking about IBC CEP2, this is the registration form. You have already registered. If you don't, it's the same form. If you haven't registered, then register. And this is the calendar, a brief calendar. We will discuss in detail all of this tomorrow or in the coming sessions. So right now we are in module 1. In module 2, we are going to discuss about technical sessions. Module 3 will be building. So guys, it's going to be an amazing journey. You are going to have a lot of fun. And apart from CEP, our continuous education program, if you are working parallelly on some project and you want help in any of the projects that you are stuck with, you can just come in and ask your question here. And not just this, we have each of our sponsor categories over here. You choose their category, you just go to their conversation, this discussion channel over here. Like for IBC, we have this. For Polkadot, similarly, we have a channel here. If you're building with Polkadot, you can just come in and drop your questions over here. Similarly, for Unique Network, similar for Subsocial, for Fala. So all of it is right here. You don't need to go anywhere else. And if you want to, just go a step ahead and want to start learning right away, you don't want to wait for tomorrow and want to just check out some stuff, what we have been doing already, what we have done already, just go to the IBC Continuous Education Program playlist over here. I'll just put this link in our in the Zoom here. I'll just put it in a few minutes. I don't want
Which is your favorite
to share that.
I like aloe vera the
you
most.
have
We've got
all these programs here. On the right side, you can see the sessions,
around 2 plants.
right? And then we had this workshop. By the way, this workshop is still open. We are still accepting participants. So do check out this link, IBC Continuous Education Program Module 3, where you are building on Fala network. If you complete this workshop, you are getting a free NFT airdrop, and also you are getting 500 Fala tokens. So make sure you check out this workshop and start building. And obviously there's tremendous amount of more information that we'll be sharing with you in coming days. But I think to give you a brief overview of what we have been doing and what we will be doing soon, this is a gist of it all. And this is just the beginning. Praveen sir, Abhishek sir, I think I would request you all to, I'll just check before we come to the closing comments if there are any other questions. Okay, I have created a team, but my team members have not joined this meeting. Praveen, so you want to take that up?
So I was looking at the comment. I did not understand that question properly. So where exactly this team has been created?
So I think I'll take the liberty to guess here. I think they have a team in mind, but they have not joined this meeting. So if I take the liberty to answer here, so basically what you can do, Kiran, is you can get them to register the form. And when we start with the sessions, you guys share the information. When we talk about the tracks, you can choose the track and you can start building. I mean, there is no kind of formal acceptance that we are doing for teams or individuals. It's a gradual process. It's totally up to you how you want to take it up. And obviously we'll be also helping you on how to register for a particular track, but that is an information that you will get in the coming sessions. So first let's start with the basics and let's go with the flow. And obviously with respect to the team, you have no foundation and no formal process where we are taking we are not getting involved in any formal process. So yeah, I mean it's a free flow of content. It's a free flow of individuals and teams, so make sure whatever you want to do, you can go ahead with it. Yeah, so Praveen sir and Abhishek sir, coming to the closing remarks, is there anything else you would like to add, give an insight to our students? Your words of inspiration will go a long way in making their journey a successful one.
No, so I think we have pretty much talked about the whole overall context. My only request is that this is a very exciting field and with enormous possibilities, a lot of potential. But then, yeah, it really will need your commitment, as I have been talking from the beginning. Commitment will be required for you to succeed here. The sponsors are looking for skilled people. Technology is changing pretty fast, so you need to be able to kind of catch up with the technology, but start the journey, okay? And we are here to handhold you and make sure that you are up to the speed, you are brought onto the highway. So I think that effort will be there from our side. Yeah,
absolutely. So I think that's about it. I sadly, unfortunately, Abhishek sir has dropped out, and he is obviously in Dubai right now. He might be preoccupied with some other stuff, but we are glad that he could join us for whatever time he could take out from his schedule. And Praveen sir, obviously, thank you once again for taking all the time and being here with us. And I'm sure we'll be hearing from you more soon. And guys, just to give you an example, we'll be hearing from other experts as well. And one of the auditors of this session is Mr. Deepak Chaudhary. He'll be helping you a lot in the technical sessions. And one of the other experts that we had, Mr. Selvaraju, he will be joining us hopefully soon. He is away for some health reasons, but we are hoping to have him back soon. And apart from that, we have a lot of other mentors and experts on our Discord. So if you have any queries, any questions, just drop your questions over there. Just drop your problems over there, and we will sort it out for you. If there's any other question, please feel free to drop in the Q&A section. Are we gonna have any offline sessions? Yes, we will have offline sessions. It's not basically a session on offline. Asarita, we basically do on-ground hack fests, and like we discussed on the website, over there we do a week-long kind of a program where we just we dwell into the basics on the foundational aspects of blockchain and Web3, where experts such as Praveen are here, and other members of IBC team, and obviously in presence of and leadership of Mr. Abhishek Pitti, we try to give students the knowledge that they need to start with their blockchain journey. And when we come to CEP, we start with the technical sessions and with the building sessions. So offline we'll be doing, but I'm not sure which city you're from. I think the next city that we will get more information soon would be, I don't want to disclose the name because I don't want to spoil the surprise, but you'll get more information about the next city we are going to very soon. Do keep a check on all our social media handles, make sure that you're there. how much duration this program. You might have seen the schedule on our website, Krishna. We will discuss the entire schedule once again, but the overview of the schedule you can get on the website. Just go over there in the CEP Continuous Education Program section and you will get the required details over there. Anyone else has any other queries? We will wait for, I think we are, Praveen sir, we didn't realize we are 1 hour away from it on our timeline. It was such an amazing discussion.
Yeah, no, I think it was excellent and good to have all of you. All the very best for this journey. Please, please take this seriously. And I was saying earlier, I'm not sure how you landed here, but you have landed at a very right place. Please don't let this opportunity go away, and please do your best. Thank you.
Absolutely. So guys, we'll be signing out and that's it from my side. We'll be hearing, you will be hearing from us soon tomorrow. Thank you everyone for being with us. And yeah, let's start working and become the best that we can in this journey where we are hand-holding you to become a blockchain developer. That's about it. We will sign off. If there are more questions, you can feel free to just drop in your questions in the Discord server as we have already discussed. And yeah, have a good night. We'll catch you all soon tomorrow. Same link, same place, same time. Thank you all. All right, guys. Thank you for joining in. We'll see you all soon. Thanks a lot.